Hey everybody, Tara Green here. We're going to talk about today's November the 15th big super full moon. It arrives at 4:28 p.m. That's Eastern Standard Time. This chart here is set for Washington, D.C. And you can see I've drawn in heavy colors so you can see the aspects a little bit more. I know it looks quite busy, but I want to make sure I got everything. Now, it is a very, very big full super moon because, and one full of shocks and awe and revolution and freedom, and everything that you see going on in the US right now is totally right on cue for this very Aquarian intro to where Pluto is going to finally enter Aquarius next week on the 19th to stay for 20 years. So Uranus conjunct the moon, you can see it there, 24 degrees of Taurus there, conjunct the fixed star Algol, the most feared star in the sky. That is the head of Medusa. She was a great goddess, a great beautiful Amazon. Of course, the Greek myths are very patriarchal. That's at the end of that story. It's all about conquering the Amazons. And that was the final signal that the patriarchy had conquered the matriarch. But au contraire, because right now the sun is opposite that. We're going into a mini kind of age of Aquarius as Pluto enters Aquarius finally to stay for the next 20 years. I know there's different astrologers have different takes on that, but there's a number of other things happening. Besides it being a super full moon, Saturn, the planet of karma, limitations, obstacles, testing, also stations direct today, also at 9:20 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's been retrograde since June, and I'm writing about that on my blog. So this is everything that you've been dreaming about. Saturn in Pisces is the dream, what's been going on unconsciously under the surface, addictions, rehab, projection, fake news, all of those Neptunian things. You know, Neptune is at 27 degrees of Pisces right now. Saturn station, whenever planets station, whether they're going to move retrograde or forward, and Mercury will go retrograde later this month, they're at their most powerful because they're stationary, literally like it sounds, in the sky. So there's Saturn, 12 degrees of Pisces, a very historic degree, which I'm going to talk about. My intuition just guided me to something and it was bang on. 12 degrees of Pisces, watch that degree. It is also trine the U.S. Sun at 12 degrees of Cancer. It's not shown on this chart, but some kind of illusion, delusion, projection, something that was hidden is being revealed. The full moon is a culmination. So this is very, very good energy. Now, you can see there's lots of other things going on here. Jupiter is retrograde, 19 degrees of Gemini, opposite Mercury and Sag. They're in a complementing each other. They're housing each other. They're in mutual reception, but they're both weak. Mercury and Sag is weak because it rules Gemini, and Jupiter is weak in Gemini because it's ruler of Sag. But so they're both kind of weak together, but they're also squaring. They're making a T-square to Saturn. So, you know, truth is trying to come out, even though they're still double talking. Jupiter's still retrograde, right? Now, the ruler of the chart, because it's a Taurus full moon, is Venus, and there's Venus at 4 degrees of Capricorn, conjunct a star called Polis. I've drawn in all the major stars that the planets are connected to. Polis is basically a city. Polis means a city, so it's an ancient degree. So Venus in Capricorn taking care of business there. She's up in the 8th house for this chart in Washington. Has to do with taxes, has to do with money, has to do with tightening the belts, right? Now, the North Node's at 5 degrees of Aries. It will, move backwards and enter Pisces in January, but right now, 5 degrees. It is trining Mars in Leo, which will also go retrograde December the 6th. So pay attention to these degrees trining, in conjunct Venus in Capricorn. So there is some, sexes are not getting along. Venus and Mars in an inconjunct or a quincunx means they're not seeing each other. So you may be feeling really like your love life is in a big funk these days. Pluto, of course, is still at that very important 29th degree. And as it enters Aquarius, it'll conjunct a fixed star called Altair, a very important fixed star at 1 degrees of Aquarius. It's already past that as well. Saturn is conjunct a star called Varuna. Varuna is like a beautiful energy. Neptune is conjunct to a fixed star called Sheet. So the sheet has been hitting the fan, and it will continue to hit the fan until Neptune enters Aries, which it's going to do March the 30th for the first time in 2025. It's going to take a while till it comes back in January and then meets up with Saturn. Chiron at 19 degrees of Aries, still sitting on basically the degree it was on during the big solar eclipse, April the 8th. Lilith is opposite Chiron there. So Lilith at 15 degrees of Libra, very important degree, mid-degree of Libra, connected to Hecate. She's the goddess of sorcery. And she sees it three ways. She's a very ancient goddess, goddess of kind of witchcraft, mysticism, dead things. You make offerings to her. So Lilith opposite Chiron, though, is very powerful. There's a lot of women who are very upset, very pissed off. They feel things are out of balance. Libra is the scales of justice. So Lilith there is trining Jupiter and, what am I looking at here? Lilith is trining Jupiter. There's a lot of what they call inconjuncts or fingers of God. Those are the ones with the dark or the green images. You can see that Saturn in Pisces is sextiling widely the moon. That's a bit too wide. Sorry, what am I saying there? Sorry, sextiling the ascendant just in this chart, but that doesn't hold for everything else. Okay, let's not go there. Ceres at 22 degrees Capricorn also is trining the moon and Uranus. So the moon and Uranus is all about marching to your own drummer. Uranus, as the modern ruler of Aquarius, is all about being unique, honoring your weird, marching to your own drummer, letting your freak flag fly. We are born to be wild. Going back to the 60s, this is very much a very important time. We are literally picking up the seeds that were planted in the 60s to the degrees actually right now. Okay. Dane Rudyard, a very famous, very amazing astrologer, talked about this way back in the 60s, 65, 66. And it was October the 9th, 1965, on John Lennon's 25th birthday. And the Beatles were just reaching the peak of their first wave. John Lennon really embodied the archetype of the 60s revolution. And that was just the seeding phase. So, that hope, that faith, the anti-war, the protest, the students, that was just the beginning. Now, this many years later, since 65, we're going into 2025. It's 60 years later. Now, 60 years is a Jupiter, a golden dragon cycle. We're in a dragon year. Now those seeds start to take root and they start to grow. Things go very slowly, but they will accelerate. Of course, we're in a new age. We're in the age of air for the next 200 years. We're in the age of Aquarius. So also, a little bit of a heads up, when Pluto gets to zero Aquarius for the final time, it will bring us back to March 23rd, 2023, when Pluto first entered Aquarius. And also, the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction, which happens every 20 years, happened at 0 degrees of Aquarius on December the 21st, 2020. So all of those were kind of like dialing back to being right at that same spot. So think about what was going on in your life at that time. Let's see what else we want to talk about here. Ceres is conjunct Pluto. That's like the myth of Persephone going into the underworld. Again, Chiron still sitting opposite Lilith. So again, women are feeling wounded. Ceres is squaring Chiron. So there's some also difficulties with mothers, with housing, with the divine feminine, with this loss of the daughter, loss of the mother, wounded children going on. It is a good time to remember your dreams, to start to move forward with your dreams with that Saturn station very powerfully at this time. But basically, it's time to break out of the box. Think outside of the box. Crypto's going through the roof now because it was destined, because crypto is an Aquarian thing. So, of course, as Pluto enters Aquarius now for the last time, it's going to be all digital, everything from now on, AI. But again, Aquarius is a human sign. It is up to us to be in a higher consciousness plane. Now, I'm going to do a workshop on the 19th to welcome Pluto into Aquarius. If you'd like to join me with that, it's going to be online at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to post that on my blog if you want to get in touch with me at Tarot to get a personal reading to find out how Pluto is going to affect you for the next 20 years in terms of your health, your career, your love life, everything. Things are going to be rapidly changing, but you want to get some heads up. So sending you many blessings today. Enjoy this big super full moon, but be very careful out driving because things are chaotic and terrorism, hacking, all of that is very likely. Okay, sending you blessings.